Malaysia is one of the most misunderstood countries on the planet. And I don't mean slightly misunderstood. I mean people are confidently wrong about it. Like loud, aggressive comment section war wrong. Every single time I tell someone I live in Malaysia, I already know what's coming next. I could literally say the questions before they open their mouth. Isn't it dangerous? Isn't it super strict? Isn't it basically third world? Do people even speak English? Do I need to bring my own toilet paper? That last one is real. Someone actually asked me that, not as a joke, a real question. So today I finally did it. I wrote them all down. These are the 7 biggest lies people believe about Malaysia, and more importantly, why every single one of them is completely wrong. And by the end of this video, your entire view of Malaysia is going to change. 7 lies about Malaysia. Everyone believes the truth will surprise you. Why Malaysia is so misunderstood. Before we even get into lie number 1, we need to talk about why Malaysia is misunderstood in the first place. Malaysia has a very strange problem. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't flood social media with hype. While other countries are screaming, "Come here, look at us," Malaysia just quietly exists in the background, offering one of the best qualities of life in the region and somehow still being completely misunderstood. Most of the misconceptions come from lazy thinking, from people who have never been there, never researched it, and lump all of Asia into one big category in their head. Religion, development, safety, language. Malaysia gets misunderstood on all 4. So let's fix that. Lie number 1. Malaysia is a strict Muslim country. This is the biggest lie, the most common one. The one I see in almost every comment section. Malaysia is super strict. You can't do anything there. It's basically Saudi Arabia. This is completely false. Here's the small piece of truth people grab onto. Yes, Malaysia is a Muslim majority country. About 60% of the population is Muslim, and that's where people stop thinking. The moment people hear the word Muslim, their brain jumps straight to extreme examples. Saudi Arabia, Iran, Taliban-level rules. No freedom, no fun. Malaysia is none of that. Malaysia is a secular country. And more importantly, it is one of the most multicultural countries on earth. What Malaysia actually looks like. Let me explain what Malaysia really looks like in everyday life. You can walk down a single street in Kuala Lumpur and see a mosque, a Hindu temple, a Catholic church, and a Buddhist temple all within a few minutes of each other. This is not a metaphor. This is not exaggeration. This is normal. Friend groups are mixed, families are mixed, workplaces are mixed. You will regularly see people of completely different religions and ethnicities sitting at the same table, joking with each other, eating together, living life together. Languages are mixed too. In one conversation you might hear English, Malay, Mandarin and Tamil all bouncing back and forth. And here's the most important part. Nobody cares. Nobody asks what religion you are. Nobody checks. Nobody judges. There is no religious police chasing tourists. There is no pressure to conform. People mind their own business. Malaysia operates on a very simple social rule. Live your life, let others live theirs. Quietly tolerant, not loudly performative. Malaysia is what I would describe as quietly tolerant. It doesn't shout about tolerance. It doesn't market it. It doesn't turn it into a performance. People just coexist. They respect each other and get on with their lives. And honestly, that's the best kind of tolerance there is. No drama, no fake outrage, no constant debates, just normal people living together. Because of this, Malaysia is one of the most relaxed and open-minded countries I've ever been to. People are funny. People are chilled. People don't take life too seriously. No matter your background, your religion, or where you come from, you will make friends here. And that diversity is not a side feature of Malaysia. It is the entire point of the country. Lie number 2. Malaysia is third world. This one still amazes me. Someone once emailed me and asked very seriously, "Do I need to bring toilet paper to Malaysia?" You are not going camping in the jungle. You are going to a modern country with skyscrapers. Let's be very clear, Malaysia is more developed than many European countries. And that's not controversial to anyone who has actually been there. Kuala Lumpur reality check. Parts of Kuala Lumpur are so modern that it is genuinely hard to tell the difference between KL and Singapore. Malaysia has world-class highways, modern rail systems, clean airports, luxury condos, smart infrastructure, and massive business districts. And the malls. This needs its own category. Malaysia has some of the biggest shopping malls on the planet. Malls connected to other malls. Underground malls, elevated malls, entire neighborhoods built around malls. You could live inside a Malaysian mall and never need to go outside. This is not a developing country aesthetic. This is a hyper-modern Asian city. Asia is ahead, not behind. Here's where Europeans get confused. Asia is far ahead when it comes to daily convenience. In Europe, governments are still debating whether cash should disappear in 10 years. In Asia, cash is already almost irrelevant. In Malaysia, there are situations where cash won't work, cards won't work, and you need a digital wallet or a banking app to pay. Life is efficient, fast, frictionless. My day-to-day life in Malaysia is easier than it ever was in Ireland. Less stress, less friction, less bureaucracy. So if Malaysia is third world, then Europe needs to have a serious look in the mirror. Lie number 3. People don't speak English. This lie might be one of the most confidently wrong statements people make about Malaysia. It usually comes from the same mindset that assumes all of Asia is the same. Different language, different alphabet, therefore no English. End of thought. But Malaysia completely breaks that assumption. Here's the reality. Malaysia was under British rule until the mid-20th century. Because of that history, English didn't disappear when the British left. It stayed. It became part of the system. English is one of Malaysia's official languages. It is taught in schools. It is used in business. It is used in government. It is used in daily life. And not just basic English. Good English. The first thing people notice. Most foreigners who arrive in Malaysia experience the same shock within the first few hours. They order food. The waiter speaks fluent English. They get in a taxi. The driver speaks fluent English. They check into a hotel. Perfect English. They go to the gym, the bank, the mall, the cafe. English everywhere. I honestly struggle to think of a single time in Malaysia where I couldn't communicate because of a language barrier. Not once. And this isn't limited to Kuala Lumpur. This extends across the country. Smaller cities, towns, tourist areas, business districts, English is everywhere. Malaysians and languages. Here's something people don't realize. Malaysians love languages. It's completely normal for a Malaysian to speak 3 languages fluently: English, Malay, and either Mandarin or Tamil. That's the baseline. Many people speak more, 4 languages, 5, sometimes 6 or 7. Meanwhile, I'm struggling to properly speak one. This multilingual ability makes Malaysia incredibly easy to live in as a foreigner. But more importantly, it makes it enjoyable. You can joke, you can use slang, you can have real conversations, you don't feel isolated, you don't feel like an outsider trying to survive with hand gestures and broken phrases. You feel integrated. Humor, slang, and culture. This is something that doesn't get talked about enough. Malaysians are funny. Really funny. They understand sarcasm. They understand irony. They understand Western humor. They understand internet culture. They understand memes. And because they speak English so well, those jokes actually land. You can banter with a Malaysian the same way you would with a friend back home. The cultural gap is much smaller than people expect. That's why Malaysia is one of the most expat-friendly countries in Asia. It's not just easy to survive there, it's easy to belong. Why this lie still exists? So why do people still believe Malaysians don't speak English? Simple. They've never been there. They assume Asia equals language barrier, and they never bother to check. Malaysia quietly does its thing without correcting the record, and that leads us directly into the next lie. Lie number 4. East Malaysia is backwards. This one is interesting because even Malaysians sometimes believe it. Most people don't even know this, but Malaysia is split into 2 massive regions. West Malaysia, which is the peninsula where Kuala Lumpur and Penang are located, and East Malaysia, which sits on the island of Borneo, next to Brunei and Indonesian Kalimantan. When people think of Malaysia, they usually only think of the West. And there's a stereotype that East Malaysia is somehow stuck in the past, that it's underdeveloped, that people are living in huts in the jungle. That stereotype is outdated and inaccurate. The reality of East Malaysia is East Malaysia as developed as Kuala Lumpur? No, but that doesn't mean it's backwards. Cities like Kuching and Kota Kinabalu are developing rapidly. Infrastructure is improving. Roads, airports, hospitals, schools, and public spaces are all modernizing at a fast pace. The quality of life in these cities is actually very high. What East Malaysia lacks in flashy skyscrapers, it makes up for in space, nature, calm, and balance. Life moves slower there, not in a bad way, in a healthy way. Development does not always mean better. Development does not always mean better. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming development only counts if it looks like a mega city. East Malaysia doesn't try to compete with Kuala Lumpur. It doesn't want to. Instead, it offers something different. Less congestion, less noise, less pressure, more nature, more space, more breathing room. For a lot of people, that's not a downgrade, that's an upgrade. And quietly, without hype, East Malaysia is catching up anyway, a region to watch. If you pay attention to long-term trends, East Malaysia is one of the most interesting regions in Southeast Asia. Investment is increasing, infrastructure projects are expanding, tourism is growing, but not in a destructive way. It hasn't been overrun, it hasn't been ruined. It's developing at its own pace, and that's why people who know are watching it closely. Why this lie persists? This lie exists because East Malaysia doesn't market itself aggressively. It doesn't shout. It doesn't flood social media. It doesn't chase validation. And because of that, people assume nothing is happening there. In reality, it's one of the most underrated regions in the country. Lie number 5. Malaysia is dangerous. This is one of the most damaging lies about Malaysia because it stops people from even considering visiting or living there. And it usually comes from people who have never stepped foot in the country. Let's be realistic first. No country on earth is perfectly safe. Crime exists everywhere. Anyone telling you otherwise is lying. Malaysia is no exception. Petty theft happens, robberies happen, scams exist. That's the honest truth. But here's what matters. Violent crime in Malaysia is rare, very rare. What crime actually looks like? Most crime in Malaysia falls into very predictable categories. Pickpocketing in crowded areas, bag snatching if you're careless, occasional home break-ins, especially in older neighborhoods. This is why you'll see window grills on some houses. It's a preventative habit that's stuck around. But violent attacks, random assaults, serious street crime, those are not normal. If you use basic common sense, you will be absolutely fine. Common sense rules that apply everywhere. The rules for staying safe in Malaysia are the same rules that apply almost anywhere in the world. Don't wander into sketchy areas at 2 in the morning. Don't get blackout drunk. Don't start arguments with strangers. Don't flash expensive items unnecessarily. Most of the negative stories people hear involve alcohol, ego, and poor decisions. Remove those factors and the risk drops dramatically. How it feels day to day. This part is important. Safety isn't just about statistics. It's about how a place feels when you live there. In Malaysia, people mind their business. You don't feel constantly watched. You don't feel targeted. You don't feel on edge walking down the street. Personally, I feel safer in Malaysia than I do in many European cities. And that might surprise people, but it shouldn't. Comparison with Europe, take Dublin as an example. You can walk through the city centre in the middle of the day and be harassed by aggressive drug users. That's normal there, expected even. In Malaysia, that kind of confrontation is rare. People don't bother you. They're not looking for trouble. They're just living their lives. Despite what global rankings might say, many Asian countries, including Malaysia, are far safer in everyday reality than people assume. Asia's safety myth. Asia is often portrayed as chaotic and dangerous in Western media. The truth is the opposite. Most of Asia is incredibly safe, especially compared to major Western cities. Malaysia sits firmly in that category. Safe, calm, predictable. Not perfect, but far from dangerous. Lie number 6. Malaysia is boring. This lie says more about the person saying it than the country itself. Here's a hard truth. Boredom is a personality trait. If you move to a completely new country, surrounded by new cultures, food, languages, and experiences, and you're bored, that's not the country's fault. That's on you. Where this lie comes from. Malaysia is not a party destination. If your idea of fun is getting drunk every night, sticky bar floors, loud music, and artificial validation, Malaysia probably isn't for you. Alcohol exists, but it's heavily taxed. This is not a cheap party country, and that's exactly why some people call it boring. What Malaysia actually offers. Malaysia offers a different kind of life. Fitness culture is strong, gyms are everywhere, group classes are popular. Yoga, martial arts, cycling, swimming. People like doing things. There are cooking classes, language classes, skill courses, workshops. Learning is normal here. Food, nature, and variety. Malaysia has some of the best food in the world. That alone removes the possibility of boredom. Beyond food, there is nature everywhere. Rainforests, waterfalls, beaches, islands, mountains. Especially in East Malaysia, the natural beauty is world-class. If you like hiking, diving, snorkeling, or outdoor activities, Malaysia delivers. Daily life matters. Not everyone wants chaos. Not everyone wants nightlife. For many people, a good life looks like comfortable housing, good food, easy transport, safety balance. Malaysia excels at that. It's not boring, it's calm, and there's a difference. Lie number 7. Malaysia is hiding something. This is the strangest lie of all. It's not aggressive, it's not dramatic, it's subtle. You'll see comments like, "This guy is lying." There's no way it's that good. They're hiding the truth. And here's the ironic part. A lot of the time, Malaysians themselves are the ones feeding this idea. The culture of not showing off Malaysia does not have a culture of bragging. People don't shout about their country. They don't aggressively promote it. They don't care about convincing outsiders. In fact, many Malaysians actively downplay their own country. You'll see comments joking, "We live in huts. There's no internet. Please don't come." It sounds sarcastic, but there's something deeper going on. Gatekeeping without malice. This isn't hostility, it's not arrogance, it's quiet gatekeeping. Malaysia hasn't been overrun by mass tourism the way some neighboring countries have. Life is still affordable, cities still function, Nature is still intact, and people don't want that to change. So instead of advertising loudly, Malaysia stays quiet, and that silence creates suspicion from the outside. Why this makes Malaysia special? The lack of hype is exactly what protects Malaysia. While other countries chase attention, Malaysia focuses on livability, infrastructure over Instagram, function over flash, comfort over chaos. The result is a country that doesn't feel like it's constantly performing for tourists. It feels lived in. The quality of life reality. This is where everything connects. Malaysia offers a quality of life that surprises people because it isn't advertised. Housing is affordable compared to Western standards. Food is cheap and world-class. Healthcare is modern and accessible. Transport works. And daily life feels manageable, not rushed, not stressful, not overwhelming. Why stereotypes survive? Stereotypes survive when nobody challenges them. Malaysia doesn't aggressively correct misconceptions. It doesn't respond to every comment. It doesn't push back loudly. So the myths stay alive, and that's why this video exists. The bigger picture, most lies about Malaysia come from two places: fear of the unfamiliar, lazy assumptions about Asia and religion. People imagine what they think Malaysia should be, instead of learning what it actually is. And when reality doesn't match their imagination, they assume something is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Their assumptions are, why people who move stay. There's a reason so many people who move to Malaysia don't leave. They come for a year, then another year, then another. Because life works here. It's not perfect, but it's balanced. Stepping back from the lies. At this point, we've broken down every major lie people believe about Malaysia. Not with hype, not with marketing slogans, but with lived reality. And when you strip all the noise away, one thing becomes very clear. Malaysia is not misunderstood because it's bad. Malaysia is misunderstood because it's quiet. Myths versus reality. People imagine Malaysia as strict, dangerous, poor, backwards, boring. The reality is multicultural, calm, modern, livable, balanced. Those two images couldn't be further apart, and the gap between them exists almost entirely because of assumptions. The Ireland comparison. This is where things become personal. I come from Ireland. Ireland is a developed European country. On paper, it ranks highly on almost every global index. But daily life is a different story. Housing is expensive, rent is brutal, infrastructure struggles, cities feel tense, and safety, despite the statistics, does not always feel real on the ground. In Dublin, being harassed by aggressive drug users is normal, expected even. In Malaysia, that constant tension doesn't exist. People mind their business. They're not trying to provoke you. They're not looking for conflict. Life feels lighter. Quality of life is not a statistic. This is something people often miss. Quality of life is not just numbers on a chart. It's how you feel when you wake up. It's how easy daily tasks are. It's how much mental space you have. Malaysia excels in these invisible areas. Daily life works, things function, systems make sense. You spend less energy fighting bureaucracy. That alone changes how you experience life.